How's it going, guys? This is your friendly neighborhood tech expert Nomad. Welcome back. So, today we're going to take a look at a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition character creator. I apologize if at times it becomes difficult to hear me. I'm eating a bag of gummy worms. So, today we're going to do a quick build. We're going to do an assassin. So, let's begin. So here it is. This is Aurora. It's in beta at the moment, and it's being run by one person. So as you can see, I've already got a couple characters here. I've been playing around with it. Before we begin, I want to show you, these are all of the sources that you have access to. You got your big three, the Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and then you've got everything else by Wizards of the Coast. You got your playtest material, your Wayfinder's Guide to Aberon, your additional information, which was the Grung race, the frog people. You even got your Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, which is Matthew Mercer's additional content himself. So that's all the Wizards of the Coast stuff. Your Adventurers League, Tyranny of Dragons, Curse of Strahd, Tomb of Annihilation. All 53 sources of the Unearthed Arcana, which is incredible. The third-party stuff, the Deep Magic series, those are great, by the Kobold Press. Incredible stuff. Xanathar's Lost Notes and Guide to Everything are in here. You've got the Critical Role material, which is awesome. And then you've got the D&D Wiki, the Improved Backgrounds by Damian Meany, which is actually an incomplete source, and the Mage Hand Press stuff. There's only a couple items from each. Now, the only things that came default were the big three: Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, DM's Guide. That's your standard SRD. To add more content, there's a website. Actually, I can show you the website real fast. So this is aurorabuilder.com/content. So this is your content repository. This is everything you need. I put all of these in here. So you index a URL, and it brings up one of these raw GitHub content pages. Then you'll copy this, and then you'll switch back to your builder, and you paste it here. Paste, and you'll hit download, and you'll do that for all 5 of those indexes, as well as the D&D Wiki homebrew further on down the website. Now I've already got these in there. So you'll hit download, it'll run a little file thing right here. You'll hit update, it'll update everything, it'll take a minute or two. And then once everything's updated, you'll hit where this clear download content button is, you'll hit restart system, and it'll restart the app. And then once you do all 5 of those and the D&D stuff, you'll have everything. Anyway, back to building our character. So today we're going to do an assassin. I've already decided on all of the big options. I'm really just going to show you all of the fleshing out opportunities. So, we're going to start. Let me see. I'm just going to look for a half-decent picture. There, that looks like an assassin. Nope, didn't mean to shuffle that. Oh, goodness, where did it go? So far away. Here we go, we're getting close. There. Now, we're going to make it a female, starting level 1. So, roll 46 is usually what GMs allow as their first option. I give my players a hit point, or not a hit point, sorry, it's all a word down there. A point buy option that I run myself. And I'll explain that later on. So we're not going to do a name. We'll come up with that later. Starting level 1 and female. You don't pick any races or anything over here. These are bonus options for extra content. So create character, nameless one. It'll initialize. It takes a couple seconds. All right. Now, starting out, we're right here in the build menu with our races. These are all the races that you have access to. So with all of these races, it can get a little tough to choose, right? Which is why I said I've already made all of the choices. So, we've got Halfling. That's what we're going to go with. Double click. And then you get all of these sub-races. I'm not going to look at all of these today because your main ones are Lightfoot and Stout. These other ones are Eberron additions. So, Lightfoot Halflings get a stealth bonus, which is perfect. Right? So, race, we're done. Only 2 choices we get. Now, you saw me click something down here. So we have the next selection and selection flow options. If you click this, it'll be red or green. When it's green, it's enabled and you will automatically move to the next choice that you need to make. If it's red and enabled and you're not sure what to do next, you click next selection and it'll throw you. You'll get a little flashing bar. So the next choice is class. Now we're going to go classic old school assassin. Rogue class. And we're going to take expertise in Thieves Tools, which will leave us with 1 expertise to choose later. So, next selection, we don't have that. So we're going to hit selection flow and switch to background. So, for our background, we could do a criminal and have ties to the underworld and get an additional proficiency boost to Thieves Tools. So actually that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to... No, I'll leave it. We're actually going to go with the one of the choices I made earlier. And we're going to go with an urchin. Orphan, basically. Because they get a bonus to Thieves Tool anyway, as well as Disguise Kit. So now it'll quickly flash us back to our class page where we get that second expertise. And we're going to go with Stealth. Always need the stealth bonus. And then it throws us back to the background page. We picked our background. These are variant features. These are optional. They're not useful right now. So, we've got our personality traits right here. Let's see. Ask a lot of questions seems good. That's perfect for somebody because information makes the job easier, yeah? Let's see, we're a halfling. Perfect. Like to squeeze into small places where no one else can get to me. That's a good, interesting personality trait. So we have an ideal. Let's see. A street urchin, a halfling, an orphan. What would they believe? Change, probably. A little chaotic. The low are lifted up and the high and mighty are brought down. So you get an ideal. Now a bond. Let's try... Sponsor an orphanage. It's an interesting trait for an assassin, of course. Alright, now we have our flaw. An assassin. I'd rather kill someone in their sleep than fight fair. That's the epitome of an assassin. So we'll click that. I'm finished. Now it throws us all the way over to proficiencies. Which actually, that's not right. So usually your first step will be your ability scores. But we saved that for after we built the class and everything. So this is a very useful tool right here. It already shows you the +2 you get and the +1. So it already shows your bonuses. Now, there's a button right here, and this is your roll. Randomize all abilities. And it's as if you rolled. Now, if you don't like a particular score, like, let's see, an assassin would have to have decent intelligence, you can click again to roll a second time. That's great. But if you're more interested in point buys, or if you're customizing your character specifically, you have these toggles here. So, most places, most character builds, you start out with an 8 in all skills. And that's a -1. This is where my point buy system comes into play. I offer my players 24 points. 1 point changes your score by 1 point. There's no additional points needed for higher levels. They get 24 points, which is enough to bring each skill up to 12. And then they roll 2d6, 2 6-sided dice, -2. And that is the additional number of points they can get. So, if they have an incredibly lucky roll twin 6s, they get 2 extra points. If they have an incredibly poor roll and roll twin snake eyes, they get 0 extra points. So everything runs to 12, and then essentially, if you get a couple extra points to adjust everything. So let's see. An assassin would have to have incredibly high dexterity. Strength, on the other hand, wouldn't be too important, especially as a halfling. So I actually like this 16. This +4 is nice. But I have points left over. So we're going to go and push it to 18 and get a +5. That's our highest score. Now, intelligence is important, but not nearly as important as perception. So, we've got that. Now, health is another thing. An assassin, they're not too worried about it. They're moving fast. If they're caught, they run. That's the thing. Next is charisma, and this is up to you. Do you want your character to be able to talk their way out of trouble, into trouble, have better chances getting more information? That's up to you. I like to do it as a fair thing. So we've got our max skill. We've got our min skill. We've got skills in the middle. So for charisma, since we actually get a +1 bonus, you can leave it at an odd number. But what I like to do... Yeah, actually, we'll leave it at an odd number. Now, at level 4, you will gain 2 ability points, which is enough to 1, 2. Change 1 score. Or 2 scores by 1. So that's something to remember. But this right here is a pretty effective assassin. Right? So our next selection, we'll check Languages tab. We don't get any bonus languages from our race, class, or background. So we'll move on. Now, proficiencies. As a rogue, we get our hands on 4 proficiencies. As an assassin, we need a high acrobatics skill. Now this will give us proficiency on acrobatics checks, such as tumbling out of the way of an explosion or something of the sort. Our next one would probably be an effective reflex check, honestly. Climb a sheer cliff, avoid hazards while scaling a wall, or cling to a surface while something is trying to knock you off. Make an unusually long jump, or twist through the air mid-jump. Right? So then we have, let's see. An assassin who needs information. Let's see. So I think our best bet is insight to gain knowledge into the way a person is behaving, and perception. Those are common feats. Next, we have our next selection. So it jumps straight to the manage category with our character details. Name, gender, attunement, or alignment, I mean. We've already determined that we're chaotic good. Now, all of this is unnecessary, but let's knock it out of the way. Purple hair, purple eyes, chestnut skin, gray hair. Now we're done with the general build. Here, if you like, you can flesh out your backstory. We've got trinkets to assign. I had one I had picked out earlier that was interesting, that I liked. Pardon me, I am reading very quickly. Let's see. An ancient arrow of elven design. Perfect. And here you'll also see the background feature. This is why we picked Urchin. The feature is called City Streets, and it states that you know the secret patterns and flow to cities and can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss. When you're not in combat, you, and any companions you lead, can travel between two locations in a city twice as fast as your speed would normally allow. That's pretty interesting. Here's notes. These are additional notes. It'll pop up on the character sheet in separate columns. Allies and organizations. You can type in a name yourself. So, like, I saw a homebrew. It was the Order of White Scorpions, and it's an Assassin's Guild. So the Order of the White Scorpions. You tap it there. Now, also, you can click this button to select an organization symbol, and you get a bunch of these little icons. And you can pick any of them. Let's see. I like the look of that one, actually. So we'll select the symbol, and it'll pop up here. And that'll also appear on your character sheet. Now, these are changes, and you can write the perks of this organization into the ally class, or just simply into the notes chapter. So this is the attack and spellcasting window. This is not needed at the moment. So now, you've created your character. You've got your race, class, background, ability scores, and proficiencies. Next things next. Equipment. Now, here's the fastest way to add equipment, are your equipment packs. Now, as a rogue, your best bet would be a burglar's pack. Burglar's pack, extract. Alright, there. all of these are things that I would feasibly need as a burglar. But there are also things that aren't here. We have proficiency in thieves' tools, which means we get a set. We've acquired a set over time. We also have proficiency in a disguise kit. Now, this was given as the urchin background. That's also extremely useful. It's easier to escape the guards when you can turn a corner and pull away a mask and be someone else. Now, got all of these items. So we need to keep looking and see if there's anything else we could feasibly use. Now you have to think assassin. Oh, mirror. For looking around corners without actually stepping around. Let's see. So far I'm not seeing anything else that would be useful. I mean, a torch in general. We'll add 3 of those. No, I didn't mean to add 6. There. That's better. Let's see. Do we have water skin? Yeah, we do. Ah, a whetstone. Great for sharpening a blade. There's an alternate rule where sharpening you spend, I think, 5 minutes sharpening any weapons with a whetstone, and they deal an additional point or 2 points of damage for the first couple of rounds, I think is the rule. I'm not entirely certain. Alright, so here's all your basic equipment. This is everything you pretty much carry around in your backpack. Just to have. We move to armor. Let's see. We are a dexterity-based thief. So we'll sort by group. And for some reason it sorts alphabetically via group instead of group type. So HLM. We have proficiency in light armor. We can wear other armors, but we will suffer disadvantages. Your best option, as any kind of dex-based class, is studded leather. It is the highest without any stealth disadvantages. It's not as cheap, but it gives you the highest armor class. So let's see if I can remember. Our dex modifier was +5. So one of those. Now, the armor has equipped itself. This little circle check, done. It's equipped itself. So now we've got our armor. We can move on to weapons. Now, we're thinking a halfling, an assassin. So obviously, we'll need a dagger. Why is this not in alphabetical order? Here it goes. A dagger. So he'll throw up this window. You've equipped dagger, which is not yet added to your tax. Do you want to add it now? You hit yes. Dagger is automatically equipped. Primary hand. What we're going to do is hit equip in secondary hand, and then hit equip in secondary hand again to unequip the item. It's now sheathed in our belt. Now, you remember that attacks and spellcasting page? Where you can access it via these little crossed swords right here. This shows all of your attacks and their relevant modifiers. So, you have a dagger, which can be used melee or ranged. You can throw it. 20 feet is short range, 60 feet is long range. You suffer a penalty there. You get a +7 versus AC to hit. So anything you roll, it will be +7. And then your damage will be 1d4 +5 piercing. Now that's not a lot, but that's 9 points of damage. If I'm not mistaken, at first level, a wizard, warlock, or sorcerer only has 8 to 12 points of damage. So we have a dagger. Then we need a ranged weapon, a decent ranged weapon. So we are not proficient in longbow, 1d8 piercing. Let's see. Let's check out a short bow. Okay. We have proficiency in a short bow, 1d6 piercing, and a short and long range of 80 and 320. We could use that. But let's look at crossbows for a moment. So we have proficiency in hand and light. So let's see. A light crossbow, 1d8 piercing, and 8320. Now short bow was what? 1d6 piercing? Yes. So already light crossbow does a little extra damage. However, it does have the loading property, which means you can feasibly only fire one round. One shot per turn. They'd work with a short bow, just because it's easier. Equipped it, add it to your attacks. Hit yes, and then you can roll down. And I always just unequip everything. Just because. And then you go back to your attack and spellcasting, and you can see it's already been added to your page. So, we've got a ranged weapon, a dagger that every assassin needs. Now we need our main melee weapon. For my assassin, which I figure is just a thief that will kill you without hesitation, is the way I play it, I'd probably go for a rapier. It's a finesse weapon, which means it gets a dex bonus, 1d8 piercing, and it's just plays the part of dashing swordsman. So we're going to go with a rapier. Yes. Now the rapier is equipped in our primary hand, and that's finished. Now you can move here, and you can see all of your items. You can see what's equipped and such. Now, every assassin needs a magic item. Just one. Well, first we need to purchase ammunition. So, arrows. Add. We'll roll down here. Right click. Item details. And it's literally a single arrow at a time. So we're going to change it to 30 arrows. A full quiver. For some reason, it won't let me. There we go. Full quiver. Good. Now, magic items. Let's say a ring. The jump spell. Now, see, this makes the most sense. You can get to places you normally wouldn't be able to get to. I think we'll go with a ring of jumping. Now we'll scroll. You can equip the item, and it will automatically attune. That's what these chain link is down here. And you can see it's added it to the attunement. Right, so we've got our armor, weapons, and a magic item. We've also got all of our stuff. Great. Check our inventory here. Everything the way it is. Perfect. You can also click here, manage coinage. And we'll go back to 50 gold pieces, which is awesome. Now, additional treasure. So this is, extra stuff that doesn't have a preset item. So additional treasure. And this is for quest items that the DM is listed as important. A great example I always like to use is the Arkenstone, also known as the King's Jewel. Great. And you click, click into a separate window to save it. Now, attacks and spellcasting, character, backstory, all that's finished. So, you click this page here, character sheet. You can adjust your settings before you render it. I like form fillable, formatted style, and to invert the ability scores, and I'll explain what that is later. So we'll close. You click Generate Preview here. It takes a moment. And then there's your character sheet. So, invert ability scores. I like the base score in the bubble with the modifier in the box. It's easy to say, well, what's your dex modifier? Oh, right here, +5. Boom. Instead of having to squint and look at the little one. Alright. So everything's great. You have your racial traits, features and traits here. Sneak attack. These can't. Attacks and spellcasting here. Your proficiencies and languages here. Character portrait, which we selected earlier, right here. And Order of the White Scorpions with the marking there. Your background story, your traits, ideals, bonds, flaws, background feature, your trinket, any additional features which can be given to you, granted to you by the DM. Here you have your adventuring gear. In brackets shows it's equipped. Your magic items and the magic item effect. Here you have your quest item and trinkets. Arkenstone, King's Jewel. Here is your carry weight, carry capacity, and push, drag, lift. Then you have your gold. Next page. This is toggleable. These are item cards. Most of them don't have descriptions, but they name, classification, weight, source material, and then a description, usually. Let me have all of them. Very nice. Now, I usually turn that off. It's just the way I do it. And it's down here in generated cards. You can turn them off. Item cards. Alright. And you can save. Hit generate preview to update. And done. Now, one of my favorite things, here it is, character sheet view. You hit refresh here, and it's a smaller, more manageable character sheet. You can actually full screen it and have the entire character sheet. And this little update button causes any changes it updates both of them, but any changes you make, so let's say you add a new item, just a simple musical instrument, name, pan flute. Pan flute, small, fun to play with. View, character sheet view, and we'll switch to character sheet. Right, and then we can scroll down to where it would be. Items page. Hit refresh here. It's added it there and there. You can close it, drag it, move it around. It's better for if you're running this program in the background and you want that little character sheet up front and center. It's very easy. We fleshed it out. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to jump and level up to level 3. 1. This slider changes how many hit points you get, and 3. Now, we have new selections, and you can see by this next selection icon flashing. So we'll click it, it'll take us right to where we need to be, and we get a roguish archetype. Well, we already decided on the assassin archetype. We don't get anything right now. 3rd level, we get the assassinate ability. Right? Next, we're going to jump to level 5, so I can show you some of the other bonuses. Bring it up. So I've already seen here, even though I haven't exited out, you get an improvement option. This is important. And level 5. Now, this improvement option, you can get your ability score improvement. One score by 2, or 2 scores by 1. Or a bonus feat. Now, for any of you who have used Wizard of the Coast's D&D Beyond character creator, you know that when you pick the feat score, there's 1 feat, and it's Grappler. But I'm going to show you something. You're offered a feat, and then immediately you get a new selection, and it takes you straight to the feats page, where we have all of these feats. And these feats have already been selected based off your prerequisites. So everything here you can choose. You're not looking through a book like, oh, can I use this? Can I use this? Everything here you can use. One I like to give the first feat you get, I always choose the alert feat for an assassin. You gain a +5 bonus to initiative. You can't be surprised while you're conscious, and other creatures don't gain advantage on attack rolls against you as a result of being hidden, which means you always know they're there. No advantage, no surprise, and you gain a 5 bonus to initiative, which is the best ever for an assassin. It ensures you always strike first. Well, not ensures, but it nearly guarantees you always strike first, which is beautiful considering the assassinate feat. You have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn in combat yet, which the alert feature pretty much gives you serious boost to initiative, which almost nearly guarantees the assassinate feature. If you get to go first, you have advantage on attack rolls against any creature you choose, which then nearly guarantees the sneak attack bonus, extra 3d6 damage to any creature you hit with an attack if you have advantage on the attack. So those are all your bonuses. So that's how you build your character. We did a very simple build. I picked everything out beforehand. This is Aurora. The website is right here, Aurora Builder. And then once it's done, you hit save. We don't need a character name, but I'll pick one anyway. Let's see. Ariana the Assassin. Great. Save character. And it'll open up this little file window, and you can save. And it's done. That is the character builder. Hope you guys had fun. Share this video with your friends. Anybody that plays D&D with you. 5th edition, of course. Because this is a priceless assistant. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.